Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Right, Left, Up, Down podcast. And just as a reminder, any views expressed by our co-hosts do not represent any organizations they belong to. Would our co-hosts like to introduce themselves?
Absolutely. I can go first. This is Anushka Pandey. I'm the president of the College Democrats of Indiana University, and I'm really excited for this episode.
And I'm Dylan Burns. I'm a junior at IU, and I'm the president of College Republicans at IU. And I'm also very excited for this episode.
I guess I should say I'm also a junior at IU. I forgot what the rest of the sentence needed to be.
Oh, that's all right. We'll polish things the further,
Perfect.
the further we get with our episodes. This is the first one. All right. So today we're just going to kind of talk about politically, socially, economically, how we got to where we are right now. Just anybody who's listening, the date this was recorded is, what is today, the 29th?
29th.
29th of October, 2025. Who knows what's going to happen after we leave and between now and the time this is uploaded. But just looking at the past year, 4 years, 8 years, everything's kind of led up to approaching a boiling point, and the two of you, as the presidents of the respective political parties here on campus, what are your thoughts on how we got here? Well, first of all,
Go ahead.
I guess a good thing to acknowledge would be like, where are we exactly right now?
I mean, I guess I'll start yapping first. We're definitely not in a great place. I think over the past, whatever time frame you want to look at, year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years even, you've seen a great rise in political violence. You've seen a great rise in hate speech towards, between the different political groups and ideologies. You've seen a great, schisming of individuals and communities and cities and states where people that used to be able to get along fairly well, even though they had differing political views and opinions, now are not able to have the same kind of relationships, friendships, conversations that we historically have been able to engage in. So it's definitely not a great place that we're in. I will say, though, everybody always says, we've never been more divided, and I like to remind people of the Civil War. So, it can get worse, but that doesn't mean that we're not in a pretty bad spot as it is.
It's a little ominous.
It can
And
get
hopefully it doesn't get to a civil war. I'm not saying that's where we are headed. I'm not necessarily saying that's where we are headed or that's where we should head, because I hope we don't ever head there, but people make it out to seem like it's the end of times, and I try and say it could be worse, but let's also realize that we are in a pretty precarious situation as it is.
Yeah, it could get worse, and it could very easily get worse.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and before we go on to yours, I just want to point out a little thing that I didn't point out in the beginning, but the two of you are both 20?
Yes.
Yeah, I am 35, so I am ancient. I have a little more political wisdom, I guess you would say, as far as the number of presidencies I've experienced in different political election cycles. And I can say that as far as I can remember, people could very easily in the past discuss, especially during the Obama-McCain election, things got really heated. People got really angry at each other, but you never saw it breaking up families, or at least I didn't. And Obama-Romney, that was a very forgettable election. I think a lot of people forget that one even happened, but...
That's really funny because that's the first election I remember.
That's the first one you remember?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the first one I remember was Bush-Gore.
Dang.
I started with a doozy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so...
Who did Bush run again in 2004? Against?
Kerry?
Yeah, Kerry.
John Kerry?
Yes. Climate czar.
Oh, yeah. Who was president when you were born?
I was
Bush.
born in 2005.
Nope.
So that would have been Bush.
Wait.
Bush.
Yeah, Bush.
Bush.
I know my history.
Yes.
Bush was also president when I was born, but it was a different Bush.
Bush.
That's crazy, actually.
I was born in 1990, yeah.
Dang.
All right, so now that we've explained our little bit of an age here, but okay.
Yeah.
Now it's
Sorry,
your
I was
turn.
gonna make fun of you, but I'll be nice.
All right, we'll save that for the generations episode.
Perfect. Sounds good.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a fair characterization of the current state. I think the way you kind of brought this up about how it hasn't divided families in the past, but I think just the fact that right now a lot of people's identities are based on their political party instead of that being just part of their identity is the thing that's really driving very intense divisions, because at this point an attack on your party is an attack on you as a person, which obviously people take very seriously. I think also in the fancy terms that my political science teacher kind of expressed it, the issue is that we're dealing with both hyperpartisanship and polarization, which I previously thought were like interchangeable terms, but essentially polarization is the two parties being very far apart ideologically, and hyperpartisanship as that thing with identity being politics. I think when we talk about how much worse things can get, I think that's just a really dangerous combination. That conversations like this one and the ones that we'll continue to have here are really important to kind of backtrack on.
I think that's a great point, and I historically I've also used hyperpartisanship and polarization interchangeably, and I've never thought about it as two different things until you just brought that up. But I think that's actually a great point, and to I guess kind of to quote one of my favorite Republicans, Mike Pence, when he was running in 20. I love the smiles I'm getting from my co-hosts, but I will say this: I think that to the point you were making, when he was running in 2024, he said he was a Christian American conservative Republican, like in that order. And so I think that is, I think the mindset a lot of people are missing. Like, he identified with things that were far more obviously his religion would be far more important, and what anybody's religion I would think would be more important to them than what political party they belong to. But like, he identified as an American before he identified as a Republican. He identified as, a conservative, like more of an ideological perspective on life than he did a political party. And I think to the point of like identity politics, like you both were kind of discussing, everybody leads with that. And I don't think that's what, like, you're so much more than just that.
Agreed.
And there are so much, and I would think there are things in all of our lives that we hold a lot more central to us than our political ideology, that, if anything, that's what we should be leading with first, and we're not.
Yeah. And I think, to be fair, it's a very easy kind of trap to fall into. I think, even I'll say me, I try my best to not do it, and with things like this project. But also, I can't say that I don't judge people when I hear that their party is this or that. Like, I think that's a very natural thing, but I also think that we as people just need to be more cognizant of it rather than saying that it shouldn't exist at all.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
I don't think that you were saying that, but just
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I'm tilting the mic. I'm messing with crap. I think we're good.
Our audio quality.
Come on, Dylan.
I know. Sorry, guys. They should have found somebody else. I was the only one they could get a hold of. But
we almost had Mike Pence.
Almost had Mike.
Almost. Well, hey, listen, I don't know if I would do that podcast.
I would gladly give up my seat for him. I know he's living it up somewhere in Carmel.
Can I say this, actually? He lives right around the corner from me.
Really?
We're in the same, voting precinct.
Do you live in Carmel?
I do live in Carmel. Well, obviously, my
Carmel-ish area, like Hamilton
No,
County?
I'm in Carmel.
Carmel?
Yeah, Carmel.
Wait, you didn't go to Carmel High School, though.
I did.
We've
talked
definitely
about
had
this,
this conversation about
Yeah.
how awful of a school corporation Carmel is and how much better Center Grove is.
Oh, yeah, that's not a conversation I agree to.
Just wanna...
You went to Center Grove?
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
Because I went with Finn and Ben.
I don't really know them.
No, they rhyme.
Yes, they do rhyme.
Ben and Finn.
Yes, Finn and
Yeah, I don't
Ben.
really know either of them. I kind of just know them ish.
That's
But
okay.
no,
I know them too much. So
my
it's-
my fun little anecdote about Mike Pence, which is
Yes,
not really
please.
about Mike Pence at all, is that at some point, I think it was in 23, which was my first election that I got to vote in. I knew the precinct chair of the precinct that we're both in, and she told me, obviously this doesn't actually mean anything, but she told me officially that my vote got to cancel out Mike Pence's vote. So I do have that in my resume.
there you go.
There you go.
All right. Kind of unrelated, but not really. Do either of you remember the event when Rand Paul got beaten up by his neighbor?
No.
No. I didn't
Senator
know this.
Rand Paul got beaten
I know
up
who that is, but no.
Yeah. by his neighbor at his home in Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Okay.
And the story was that it was over yard waste.
Naturally.
But my thought has always been, I don't think you attack a sitting U.S. senator over leaves. I think there was
Right.
probably a little more there, but that
When was
happened.
this?
I don't know. I've just speaking from personal experience, I have seen family members and neighbors get very heated over lawns.
Yep.
So and then like when you get to Kentucky, people care even more than they do here in Indiana. So like
They do. They do. That's where I'm from.
I could see that being the
Yeah.
case.
Yeah.
No, I could also see that. Being when was this?
I do not. I believe it was sometime in Trump's first term. But where I was going with that was that happened within like walking distance of my apartment.
Oh wow. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, so I was
Crazy.
very close to that when that happened. I thought that was, boy, was that the talk of the town.
I
But
bet.
anyway, yeah. So that was my little anecdote about being close to a politician.
There you go.
I guess sorry, we kind of steered
I mean, as we do.
off track there a little bit.
Oh,
but-
hey, that's the point.
That's
That's the
friendly
point.
conversation.
Friendly conversation. I guess in that spirit, my quick little 30-second bit before I start talking about more productive things, I actually saw Todd Young at a Kroger
No.
by my house. I had to have been like a sophomore in high school because he resides in Johnson County where I'm
Okay.
from, and I actually worked at a golf course that was very like near to this Kroger, and it was also very near to my house. So like there was this golf course in a neighborhood, and this neighborhood was a couple minutes from my neighborhood, and this Kroger was also a couple minutes from my neighborhood. And so after work one day, when I was in high school, I like head to this Kroger to meet my dad. We're gonna go do some grocery shopping, and we walk out, and I see somebody who looks like Todd Young loading Gatorades, lemon lime Gatorades. So that's a
Ooh.
win. Another reason I
No.
voted for him. Into the back of this black Suburban, and I was like, black Suburban's got to be government-esque, like, or adjacent. It looked like Todd Young, but I didn't want to go up and say
Right.
anything to him. So I'm like, there's no way Todd Young, like, shops at this Kroger.
Yeah,
that was
why would-
before I knew, like, Todd Young lived, like, within a 2-mile radius
Oh
of
right.
me.
It's like, why would it be?
Yeah, so, like, why? And then I found out, like, a month later that, no, he literally, like, I'm not going to say the name of his neighborhood, but, like, I know the neighborhood he
No, quick,
lives
dox
in,
him.
and it's like
That's a joke.
a couple a couple miles from my neighborhood, and is like also right next to this Kroger.
So it was
and I'm
definitely
like,
him.
that definitely was Todd Young,
Dang.
Should I know who Todd Young is?
Indiana senator,
Okay. I was trying to think. I was like, I have
senior
never heard.
senator
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
great state of Indiana.
Senior senator.
But I think my weave I'll make back is I also think that like politicians in general should try and connect, especially like senators, but all federally elected individuals I think they should be trying to make a more diligent effort or conscious effort to not only engage with the other side in a better way or better manner, but then I think they should make it a policy to try and like be engaging with their constituents, especially those that are of the opposite party,
Yeah, I completely agree.
in a way to try and help drum up good discussion, and try and show that we can have these conversations. And I just don't think that's happening
Yeah.
enough.
I think
I think- Oh, go on.
Sorry, I was just going to say, I think the wave of town halls that was going on earlier, a couple months ago, I think, was super important. I mean, obviously, in that moment, it was very, very tense and full of kind of attacks from one to the other. But I think those kind of occurrences regularly happening are super important. I was just watching some interview. I think it was a Pete Buttigieg interview where he was talking about how when he was mayor, he would very regularly have like random sit downs where whoever wanted to talk to him could come talk to him and just let you know about whatever it was that they wanted him to like know about, whether it be, I don't know, religious issues or like streets that needed repaired or whatever it was. And obviously that's a smaller scale, but I think those kind of open conversations when it is just a public servant serving are super important. I completely agree with you.
Oh yeah, like I was going to bring up exactly what you brought up, the town hall issue a few months ago, which again, this is October 2025 in which we're recording this. So, but yeah, like was it mostly Republican town hall?
I think it was a fair mix, to be fair.
Was it a fair mix?
I
I know
think
there was a
so.
lot of town halls where the candidate wasn't showing up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or they were being canceled.
I think it was Republicans were getting a lot of the heat, and it was Democrats. No, to be fair, it was both sides getting a lot of heat. Democrats for not doing anything, and Republicans for what they were doing, given the circumstances. I don't remember exactly what it was, but
And to be fair, I know that a few of them were Democratic people setting up town halls and expecting the Republicans. It wasn't that the Republicans themselves were setting up the town halls,
Yeah.
but the optics are there. So, what would your feed on that be, or your opinion on that?
I honestly don't really know about a whole lot of town halls and then like individuals not showing up.
I think our 9th district had one of those. But to be fair, that was set up, like you said, by Democrats.
Yeah.
But it was, and again, I think that these things should be set up in good faith, and that definitely wasn't, I'll admit it. But it was one of those where, because there were so many town halls going on, I don't remember who it was, but somebody in our 9th district was like, we're going to have one, invite Aaron Houchin, whatever it may be. And she didn't show, but just to your point, I know that those were not always in good faith, but I know that they were happening.
Okay. Well, yeah. If they're not in good faith, then that's kind of crappy. I'll
agreed.
keep it PG. Kind of crappy. Because I think making efforts to have that kind of community engagement, that constituent engagement, is something that's lacking. And then I think my other big thing is I think it's becoming more and more commonplace for politicians to I don't know. I don't want to say denigrate, because I don't think denigrate is the correct word, but I think you see just a lot of disregard for the opposite side, and again, that's just not something I feel is constructive for any type of good civil discourse in the country. And it's only best case scenario, it's a neutral factor. Worst case scenario, it's helping perpetuate the hyperpartisanship and polarization that we are experiencing.
On the topic of reaching out to congressmen or other elected officials, I think that's a good kind of a jumping off point to get into all of the protests we've had recently.
Yeah.
That's another thing that's going on these days, and just the nature of these protests, because I was present at the first No Kings protest, and I went to a few meetings after the fact, and I was very disillusioned with how they were handling what they wanted their people involved in the program to do. Because one of the things they were really stressing was that everybody needed to call their elected official and tell them their opinion as many times as they could. And in my head, I was thinking, if I am a Republican congressperson in a very solid red district, why would I care what someone who's not going to vote for me anyway thinks when they call me on the phone?
Oh, I've got an answer to this.
You got an answer
I've
to that?
absolutely got an answer to this. So I was very on board when you were saying that there was a bit of disillusionment after No Kings. I have a lot of thoughts on how we, as a Democratic Party, haven't really harnessed that energy. I think that's something that's obviously difficult to do, but not the point at all. To your point of calling representatives, I think a couple points. First, this was one of the campaign slogans that was going around in 24, but I think there's something to be said that Indiana is a purple state with a turnout problem. I think it was Destiny Wells who was saying that specifically, but as a general statement, Indiana is 60-40. That's something that's come up a lot during the redistricting process as a critique, but even in the solidly red areas, even as someone who lives in one now, who's worked in politics in multiple parts of the state, etc., a lot of it is turnout, where an election could easily be flipped by the number of people that don't vote, first of all. So I think things like No Kings, or things like these protests in general, are really important because it gets people's attention where they're probably locked out otherwise. So yeah, I know a lot of people who aren't as politically active who would maybe go to these protests or maybe just see the jokes about it online or whatever it may be. And it would at least register for them, and then they might become involved that way, at which point you could be having people calling their reps that are involved for the first time. That's very common, I think, especially with younger generations. Second of all, I think that there's a fair number of people who are disillusioned with the party system in general, and I'd like to think, in a very biased way, are disillusioned with the Republican Party right now. The chances of that being true in, deep red Indiana, maybe not entirely. I know a lot of, maybe the 9th District isn't as... I'd like to think the 9th District isn't as red, but Indiana districts in general vary a lot, and definitely vary a lot across the country. And so you could have a lot of these situations where there's more blue than you think, there's less red than you think, there's more moderate than you think. And at that point, especially if you're having, ex-Republicans or Republicans who just aren't satisfied right now calling the representatives, I think that can have a big impact if those representatives are willing to listen. That's my take.
Okay. Do you have a take on that?
I mean, yeah, I definitely think that having had multiple friends that work in both the offices of Congress people and senators, I don't think the calling in, regardless of what side you're on, whether your representative or senator is of or the other political party, I don't see it as a very efficient use of time because the senator or representative is not answering the phone. A high-level staffer is not answering the phone. It's going to either be a junior staffer or an intern that's answering the phone. And all they say is, we will relay your information to the congressman or congresswoman or senator, and they...
Does that ever happen?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll take that.
Do they read it?
Do they read? Do they
no,
read it?
That's valid.
Oh, they. Well, the person, the staffer says this. Sorry, I misinterpreted what you said. When do they actually do that? I think the staffer. Microphone malfunctions. I think the staffer says that, and maybe they say something to the boss at the end of the day of, hey, a lot of people called in complaining about this, but I don't even think that's a very effective way, in general, to get to your representative to have a discussion about policy or substance. If you need tickets for a whatever or a flag request or help getting your Social Security check, I think that's a great way to interact and connect with your congressional or senatorial representative and their team to help you fix a problem. But if you're looking to try and put pressure on them, I don't think mass calling in is gonna be a very effective way to do it, just because there's so many layers of separation between the person actually making a phone call and the information getting relayed to their senator or representative.
No, that's super valid. I think my one like counterpoint would be it depends on the office, and not even just like the individual representative.
Yeah,
but I mean, if you're doing state level versus a congressional level, if you're talking about a specific issue versus broad, unease with what's going on, things like that. I don't know. Part of it is I'm probably just being naive and will continue to be that way for the sake of not being able to do anything else in certain situations. But also I'd like to think that, again, depending on the individual, that specific issue, like the redistricting that's going on right now, if you're calling in with a very direct message, and a lot of people are doing that, then it might still make a difference. But I get what you're saying. I think that's, especially at U.S. Congress level, that's a super fair point.
I was gonna say, like, my takeaway from all of that, or what I always thought, especially when I was at the No Kings or Indivisible Indiana, I think that's what it's called,
Yeah.
Indiana, or something like that. At those meetings, my thought was, why are we targeting the politicians with our messaging and not the people who are going to be voting for them or voting them out?
Yeah, that's fair. I think
Like, they're already there. Like, leave them alone. Focus on the voters.
I have an answer to that one too.
You have an answer to that one? All right.
And again, this is I expressed earlier that I don't think that we're using the energy the best way possible, but I think that there's something very real about voter fatigue, and the fact that we're however many 7 months away from a primary, let alone general election, is significant. Where right now it's a lot more about infrastructure, within campaigns, within parties, within counties, whatever it may be, which is why you don't want to go after voters right now when there's not much, especially if things like calling doesn't work. There's not much that can be done or said to harness that energy. Is that, does that mean that that's the best alternative? No. But I think that there's still something there.
Okay, I'm not thinking, like, I wasn't thinking specifically of calling people or knocking on their doors, because I feel like for a lot of people that's just more annoying than anything, especially these days. But, like, what methods would work these days, like now in 2025?
Ooh, what methods?
I mean, whatever Zoran's doing.
Huh?
Whatever Zoran's doing is working regardless of what you think about him.
Social media virality?
Yeah, I mean...
His social media presence is large. But, like, and this is just me, and call me old-fashioned. I think social media is part of the problem, and I think the more political officials and candidates get on social media, I think this is like a feedback loop. The more they get on social media, then the better they're going to do objectively, which is just going to further them to be on social media more. And I think social media and candidates and office holders being on social media to campaign or to connect is a problem, because everything is so short form or so like tailored or targeted that social media in general and the way information gets across social media, I don't think is a very pure medium for transmitting information. And so I think candidates and office holders leverage social media to get attention and get views or likes, which, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how you get the vote. Of course, as long as it's legal. It doesn't matter how you get the vote, as long as you get the vote. But I think I think from a moral or maybe an idealistical standpoint, like, social media is not the way we should be trying to engage with them, but I think it is the way we're trying. It is the way we're engaging with our office holders, even though I don't think that's the best way for a educated democracy or educated republic to be engaging with them. But
I don't know if I agree with you.
I'm just one person.
The whole time you were saying that, all I could think about was the Trump AI tweet where he was
Oh
flying
my God, don't get me started.
flying the airplane and dropping poop on the protesters.
Objectively funny video.
That's your response.
Well, no, I want to actually let you.
That's your no, please. I yield my time. Go ahead. Respond to the Trump AI video.
Which one? Specifically
the one you mentioned. Yeah,
specifically the diarrhea plane one.
Diarrhea coming out of a plane is funny, no matter what age you are.
On protesters?
What are you going to drop diarrhea on? A tree?
Not your constituents, ideally.
Well, hopefully you wouldn't actually drop poop on your constituents. I think that there is a comedic effect that is present.
Or do you think that was the time for a comedic effect?
I think part of comedy is...
That's crazy. Go ahead.
No. Here's the thing. I believe we live in a society in which people's feelings get hurt too easily.
I was so hoping you'd say
And I was raised, and my mother always said, and I am a firm believer of it, sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt you. You know, part of living in a country where we have a First Amendment is that people have the right to be mean. Obviously, I pray for the day where everybody is nice and it's sunshine and rainbow and unicorns, truly. And I personally try and be as nice and like non-offensive to individuals as I can. That being said, we live in a place where people have the right to say what they want and express what they want, and people take everything so seriously, or people take a comment against them or against a group that they belong to as the end of the world. And at the end of the day, something like that can only affect you as much as you let it affect you. And I think people have this wrong worldview of that if you are not trying to infatuate everything about me, then you're automatically a horrible individual. If you disagree or maybe make an unsavory comment or do this or do that, no individual is going to be liked by every other individual, and that's just life.
All right, I have so much to say.
One thing real quick. Before this discussion gets really depressing, I just want the listener to remember, or not remember, I haven't even told you yet, but we will be telling ghost stories at the end of this.
All right. Okay, so I'm going to try to keep this brief because I think we were on the verge of a very interesting conversation about social media, and I think that that's a more relevant conversation. However, I think that this is important, and maybe a longer conversation another day. I think that there's a very clear distinction between not everybody has to be nice and the president is allowed to, say whatever he wants about Americans or do whatever he wants regarding Americans. I think the fact that it's the president of the United States is very significant here and wasn't at all relevant in your defense, which is, fair. I get the point that you're trying to make. But even on that point, the standard to which we used to hold the presidency was so high. The joke has been made, but I'll bring it up again, that for a while... No, okay, I'm going to rephrase that actually before I even finish the sentence. Do you remember the tan suit?
Vaguely, yes.
Okay, so...
I was just about to break in and bring that up.
Yeah, don't you worry, I got it. One time, Obama wore a tan suit to a press conference, and for a week, Fox News and whoever else was like, this is the least presidential thing ever. We have lost the dignity of the presidency. Can you believe that he's done this? Etc., etc. Could you imagine if Obama tweeted a video of him crapping on Americans for protesting, for, as you mentioned, expressing their First Amendment right? That'd be crazy. That would genuinely, cause riots. And yet, we're taking it as, no, people get offended too easily, and the president is a person who can say whatever he wants. I mean, yes, technically. But there's a level of dignity that should be awarded to Americans who are expressing their First Amendment right, and a level of dignity that the office of the presidency should have and has in the past had by nature of the position that it holds, both in the country and in the world. That being said, I think the point of being offended easily is very important because, one, tan suit. Two, people only ever tend to say that when they're offending someone. And I think that, going after people's identities is not a fair... they can say whatever they want. The defense at which I've heard people can be offensive if they want to is disrespecting pronouns, using racial slurs, etc., etc. I'm not saying that you're condoning that by any means, but my point is that just because somebody can be offensive doesn't mean that we should use that as a defense for, objectively poor action, especially, again, by the President of the United States. I told you I had a lot to say on the topic.
Sit up in my chair. Here's the thing. I somewhat agree with you. I think across the entire federal government, both the legislative and executive branch, we have seen a noticeable lowering of the standards in which all office holders have held themselves to.
Agreed.
And I think that is an unfortunate thing. That being said, that's what I will say about that. To the second point of people use the justification, or oftentimes use the justification of, words can only hurt you, whatever, to justify being mean. First off, I'm not condoning any of that. But, and I wish I could remember the quote, because there's an amazing 30-second video of a UK Parliament member, older lady, going on about how being mean is part of a free, is an inevitable part of a free society, and if you can't take that, go move to I don't know. She said some super rural place, go move out in the sticks or whatever. And I don't think people should be mean or should use, racial slurs, blah, 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 whatever. And I guess what I'm saying, sticks and stones may break your bones, but words can never hurt you. I'm not even saying that about racial slurs in general, but if somebody makes a comment, and I've seen people get offended over things way more minute, or in the grand scheme of life, things that don't matter. To try and carry that baggage around with you for your day. To use an example, I was for those who are listening that don't know, Tucker Carlson came to campus recently, and I was walking to that event, and I was wearing a Freedom T-shirt, and I had a MAGA hat on. I think I was wearing a MAGA hat, and I was walking to the event, and a woman on a motorized scooter went past me. I was actually on the phone with my friend, and so my friend heard this too, but I got yelled at, "F you, fascist," and I was like, oh, that's not really nice, because I'm not a fascist, and two, I think I'm a pretty nice guy, but I'm biased when I say that. But I guess that's the thing I'm trying to get to, is I feel like there are so many people, if something like that happened to them, they would lose their mind and take to the internet to talk about how the other side said something so mean to them and this and that, and it's the end of the world, and you need to have the mindset of, somebody's just going to be a-hole to you for no reason, randomly, and that might be because of a character that you have or a party you identify with or whatever. And if we sit there and try and mope about it, it's not productive for yourself or for society. And to try and think that Dylan Burns or any single individual is going to be able to prevent every person in this country from ever yelling "F you, fascist" at me or any other person again, I think is far-fetched. And so the thing of, hopefully we get to a point one day where nobody's ever doing that or ever saying anything else. But in the meantime, if you allow it to dominate your life or cause such great offense to you, then I think you just need to toughen up a little bit. Because people are mean. People are always going to be mean. And if you can't handle that, respectfully, go move to the Canadian wilderness.
Do you recognize the difference between you taking off the hat and not being called a fascist versus it being someone's identity, though?
What do you mean?
Let's say someone dresses in a way that, clearly identifies them as queer.
Sure.
For example. Or has, is trans or whatever, and it's a physical manifestation. That's not something you can just take off. And it's also fundamental to their being.
I think it's fundamental to my being that I'm a Republican or a conservative.
All right, fair enough.
I mean, no, because here's the thing. I think that's a fair point. I think the issue we get into is saying that some things count and some things don't.
For the record, I don't think that someone should be.
No.
yelling at you.
I'm not saying
Yeah.
I'm not saying you do. Let me be very clear. Anushka is like one of the nicest, most respectful humans I have ever met, and I don't think she would ever or has ever whatever.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So
Unless you cut her off in traffic.
Well,
unless I could, hey,
you know what?
hang
I
on.
surprisingly don't have a lot of road rage.
Oh, I
Other
do.
things will
It's
get.
bad. My mom's is bad.
Really?
Mine is as bad. As
I mean,
hers.
they did see me watching a soccer game earlier, though, and that's when it comes out. So I'm not. It's not. It's there.
No,
It's
no,
not
that's
road
fair.
rage.
That's fair. That's totally fair. I think when we start to say, some things count
Sure.
and other things don't, I think that's a slippery
Yeah, that's fair.
slope to go down. So,
Fair enough.
but to circle back, I know you
Yes,
wanted to say
I
something
did,
on
yeah.
social media.
Oh my God, this was such an
Because
interesting conversation.
I can go on about this. I will. This is one of the hills I will die on.
Interesting.
So-
Okay. All right. I'll let you die on it then. Yes, the social media argument. I think that. So just to recap, because I need to settle my thoughts as well. The thing you were saying about how, social media shouldn't be the way that we interact with government officials, regardless of whether or not it is. I get what you're saying as a general statement that social media is not exactly the peak of, good human connection or anything close to that. But I also think that as far as the role of a public servant to be meeting their constituents where they're at, I think social media has the potential to be a very good tool. And I'm one that, definitely sees both sides of the sword of whether or not social media has been good for democracy. But I think this specifically, and because I've seen some really good examples of it, I do think that there's a positive role for social media from candidates and government officials. So 2 examples come to mind. One, and okay, I'll start with Zohran Mamdani, just because we were talking about him. I don't consider myself, quite as leftist. I obviously don't live in New York. I'm not going to be voting in this election. But one of the things that got me first noticing his campaign was he did an ad on social media. I don't know if it went anywhere else, but did an ad in Hindi, or I guess Urdu, either one, explaining what ranked choice voting was and how it worked. And part of that was obviously why you should vote for him. And being Indian myself, speaking Hindi, technically it's my mother tongue, though you wouldn't be able to tell if I spoke it. It was one of those things that really got me latched on because he was meeting a community that might not watch TV, that might not get the flyers, that might not, go to these events, and met them exactly where they were in a way that would fall onto their feeds and would open up the tent to them as part of the movement. I think that is really, really powerful. And I mean, I'm against negative campaigning as a general statement, so I think that it's a very good way to do positive campaigning when you're doing a video on one thing at a time, or however it may be. I think there's a role and a way for that to be very positive. The other example that comes to mind, as far as we're talking about hyperpartisanship and how social media has exasperated that, which I agree that it has, one that comes to mind is the now Attorney General of North Carolina. His name's Jeff Jackson, who, I don't know if you guys have seen his videos, but he was previously in the House before 2024 and did kind of a regular series of videos where he would very simply sit down in front of the camera, just him, and talk in this very calm, put together, articulate voice and just explain what had been going on. And obviously there was, partisan things in it, but it wasn't evident what side of the aisle he was on. It wasn't evident who he was talking about when he referenced coworkers of his. And it was a way to just be able to synthesize information and deliver it very cleanly in a way that reminded me of the FDR fireside chats, which I've always thought was just the coolest thing. And I think that obviously, I'm not saying that that's the model of social media. I'm not saying that it happens like that or that, even the best of politicians would do it like that. But I think the fact that it still got popularity shows that there's a way to reach people in a, civil, educated way that still happened on social media.
And I don't know Jeff Jackson, but sounds like a fire name.
He's so cool.
JJ.
I mean, he's like objectively boring, but it's awesome.
I love boring people. As a boring person, I love boring
You're not
people.
a boring person, but okay.
No, I am. Ask Finn or Ben.
Or Ben.
We need to get them as guests
Oh my god, or Jonah.
on our roast Dylan.
Ben is
episode.
amazing.
I
love
think
Ben.
I'm gonna be sick that day. I would get ganged up on.
You would. It'd be funny.
Probably. Well, they won't be too mean because then I'll start telling stories about them on this, and
I know. I'd be okay with that too.
They'll be quiet
Y'all have nothing
real
on me.
quick. I think that is an amazing use of social media. I think what Jeff Jackson was doing. I just don't think that is how it is used
Valid.
predominantly.
Yeah, sure.
And I love to be an idealistic individual, truly, but I think it's also far-fetched to say that that's ever going to be the predominant way in which social media is used, at least
Sure.
by public officials. And I guess it's the opportunity cost of whatever percentage, small percentage of social media used by public officials and candidates is used in a way like that. A vast majority of it is used in a way that's not productive.
Sure.
And so if it's the question of, do you maybe try and scrap it, and you're going to lose a little bit of good, but you're going to cut out a lot of crap, I think that's a fine trade-off, personally.
And I think that's fair, except when you kind of back up a bit and realize how long this has been part of life.
Yeah, and
I mean, like,
it can't be
before-
done. Like
yeah.
it's again, like
Yeah.
I would also love to personally would love to snap TikTok out of existence.
And Twitter while you're at
And
it.
Twitter, all social media really. X, yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's
I still
Twitter.
call it Twitter.
Thank
I'd
you.
love to snap all social media short of Pinterest out of existence because Pinterest, I get a lot of recipes off of Pinterest.
That's funny.
I'd love to snap.
Dylan Burns, Pinterest connoisseur.
Oh gosh,
Really?
I'm on there more than I'm on Twitter or Facebook.
Breaking all stereotypes.
Yeah.
I love it.
While he knits.
Yeah, well,
That's a visual.
I do not know how to knit. I can do very basic sewing. Like I can do a seam, I
Pinterest
can
can
do
get
a
you there.
button. Huh?
Pinterest can get you there.
I bet Pinterest could. I need more free time.
Yeah, valid.
But that would be cool. Maybe I'll make you guys mittens one day.
I'm actually
Bernie
pretty good
Sanders mittens.
Yeah.
Are you actually?
I'm actually pretty good at sewing. I'll make you guys some scarves,
Oh,
There you go.
Love that.
Love that.
like
Yeah.
quilt style scarves.
Quilt. Okay.
I love that. I have friends that knit and crochet. I've decided that my old woman hobby is going to be jam making because
Oh.
I made strawberry jam exactly 2 times over the summer, and I'm amazing at it, dare I say. And my friends will agree who got strawberry jam. So that's going to be mine. But y'all enjoy your knitting.
Ooh, what is my old person thing gonna be? Like I
You need one.
Well, here's the thing. I say when I retire, like I'm gonna play
Just
pickle.
trolling.
I say like I'm gonna read books and play pickleball and like golf and
I thought
stuff.
you were going to say piccolo, and I got really excited. That'd be
Oh.
so funny.
I do play saxophone.
Okay.
Like
I played clarinet.
oh nice. So like I'll retire and like I'll play pickleball and in golf and play the saxophone, but I don't know if that's like a quintessential old person thing as much as that is just like a retired person thing.
That's fair. That's the same thing, though.
So
That's the
I
same
don't-
idea. Wait, Spencer, can you believe it? This is a Republican who golfs. Did not see that coming.
Do Republicans not golf?
No, that they all do.
Oh.
Yeah.
I used to be a big not golf hater, but I thought golf was like the biggest waste of time
Okay, that's fair.
in
no, I get it.
life and like
I like mini golf.
I
Oh,
like mini golf
mini
too.
golf is
I get real
amazing.
competitive.
I do too. And I started golfing this past spring, and as frustrating as it is, because I'm not that good, I like it because I think maybe this is the appeal. Golf is it's such like you have to focus on it so much that it makes you can't think about anything else.
Ah, that's
And I
nice.
love it because it like forces my brain to stop thinking about everything else.
Wait, I love that.
And
Yeah.
all I can think about is how horribly I'm shanking the ball. Which I would rather think about how horribly I'm shanking the ball than the other 100 things going on in my brain.
No, I
So
get
anyway, everybody pick up golfing in your free time if you can. So that's my plug.
That's your
Maybe
plug.
baking. Maybe I'll get into baking.
Oh, do that. Yeah.
I'd love to bake cookies.
And then like everyone around you would
cakes.
just love you.
They would.
Like more than they already do.
That's how I will finally get people to like me. Making
you
really
mean?
good chocolate chip cookies. That's
I've
the
been trying to
secret.
teach myself how to play Go.
Go.
That's a fake game.
It's like the Japanese kind of chess
Yeah.
thing.
Mahjong?
No. Is the thing with the black and the white?
Oh, I,
I
was
can I tell you it's a fake. No. I haven't this is
that-
not every once in a while I like to just like say something and then die on that hill for fun. No, that's not going to be one of them. I'll be honest, the only thing I know about Go is from the movie Knives Out, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. Cuz the main character played Go with the person who died. And that's all I know.
I first learned about it through the movie Pi, which came out when I was in high school because I'm old. But yeah,
Yeah, fair enough. How why Go?
I don't know. It just seems like a very complicated yet simplistic version of chess,
Fair enough.
like a very strategic game. And I got a little set and I play against myself.
Oh, nice.
And my cat will come up and she'll bat a piece away, and I'm just like, no.
Honestly, same energy as me playing solitaire.
Yeah.
But it's great. It's my no thinking game, because I play it on my phone, and so if I really want to try to pay attention, I will. But also the way solitaire works, and like as an app version, is that you can just keep clicking it until something happens. And so if I need to just turn off my brain, I'll just play some solitaire.
That's fair.
Yeah,
Just tap your screen until you win.
exactly. And to be fair, I'm very good at it. Not that it's a difficult game to be good
To
at,
get
but
good at
but I have it.
my solitaire tapping abilities.
Yeah.
Top.
Hey,
tier.
no. I mean, like, even when I'm really paying attention. Like, I can, like, win a game of solitaire in, like, a minute and a half.
It's impressive.
Thank you. I appreciate you lying to me.
Very
So in
impressive.
60 years, you'll be playing solitaire. You'll be
I don't know
Baking.
what I'll be doing.
baking and knitting, and
Knitting.
I'll probably be dead, but
Don't say that.
I will have
You're
played
gonna live
Go.
forever.
No.
You will have played Go.
You will play Go.
60 years, I'll be 95.
That's
I
doable.
can make it to 95.
Yeah, especially with all the continued advents in medicine.
I mean, if Jimmy Carter can do it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if
but I mean-
Jimmy Carter can do it. My goal is to be 100, so I can be on a Smucker's jar. So maybe I hit
Is that a
100.
thing?
Yeah, if you hit 100, you can get your picture on a Smucker's jar.
That's amazing.
Which is
I have a new life goal.
that's
Especially
been my
imagine
driving
if I'm the
force.
jam lady that I
Well,
get.
I was about to say I'll hit 100, and you can put me on one of your homemade jam jars, and
you
then
go.
we're good.
We'll have
I'll eat the jam. I'll die 2 days later. I'll get cremated, and we can put my remains.
This podcast
in,
will be making it come back
yes, in
80
60
years from now.
Yeah.
We'll use
on your 100th birthday.
we'll use your cremains and make a Go set.
yes, there you go.
There you go. Or yours. I guess at that point, if he's 100 years old, you might be gone. At that point,
Maybe. I mean, what's the oldest
115?
person? Like 140?
there's no way.
There, I think like 118 or 120 is
Yeah,
the oldest.
I think
somebody's
140
ever
is
been.
stretching
really?
it.
And
But you'll be the first.
And they're definitely not coming from America. Like you've got to be on that Mediterranean diet or whatever if you want to live that
What do you mean? Are you
long.
telling me these processed foods aren't going to give me immortality?
Well, U.S. lifespans have been decreasing the last couple of years.
Don't get that. That is something I can go on and on and on about. How horrible, how our food is killing us.
Hey, I'm vegetarian. I have a superiority complex.
Here's
That's,
the thing.
that's a joke. I am vegetarian, but there's no complex because I just grew up vegetarian, and so it was a struggle before it was cool.
I will eat meat till the day I die, and I have zero problem dying at 75 and having enjoyed life eating meat than like living to 100 and having never tasted like a fillet. That being said, and so I don't think that's the problem. I think the Doritos, we got to get rid
You leave
of
my Doritos alone. You leave my Doritos.
we got to get rid of all that ultra processed.
There's apparently as a kid I was obsessed with Doritos. We're talking like 2-year-old me, where my parents would find me I was also a very quiet child, contrary to everything about me now. But they would find me in a corner after looking around the entire house for a second and not being able to find me, and I'd just have a family-sized bag of Doritos and just be chomping away as a literal toddler.
The ranch or nacho cheese?
You know what? At that point, nacho cheese, but I live for Cool Ranch now.
See, that's the thing. I think, and this is a theory that I have, I think everybody's first Dorito that you get started on as a little kid is nacho cheese.
Because it's the original.
Yes, because
Yeah.
like I can't remember eating a Cool Ranch Dorito till I was like 12.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I hate like ranch in
Same.
general. Hate ranch, which as a Midwesterner, I apologize.
Yeah, no, me too.
And
I also
so
hate mayo.
I
which
hate mayo
makes-
too. I hate
Wow.
condiments in general.
Look at that.
I hate ketchup,
You hate
mustard,
ketchup. Okay.
mayo, like everything.
My
I
only
hate
one is ketchup.
Condiments.
A1 sauce.
Gross. Shouldn't exist. If you have to put sauce on a steak, the steak's not good.
Oh. I have
Don't eat
nothing
it.
to add to that conversation. But
After everything said in this podcast so far, that's what's going to lose us listeners.
that actually is.
I'll
Hey, but you know
rant.
what?
The
At
ranch
least,
is
on,
too far.
I will
at least we're on
stand
both
that.
sides, you know?
Yeah. I will. But so like I thought Cool Ranch Doritos would like taste really
Oh, sure.
ranchy, and so
Yeah.
that was part of the reason why I never ate it like a Cool Ranch Dorito until I was 12.
Yeah.
Plus like I was given the nacho cheese Doritos,
Right.
and then I hit like tweens and tasted the Cool Ranch,
And it changed your life.
It changed my life.
Yeah, no.
I think that's how everybody starts out on nacho cheese Doritos, and eventually they make the transition to Cool Ranch.
Yeah, I will, to be fair, though,
Transition to Cool Ranch.
I still accept a nacho cheese Dorito. They're still
100%.
great, but if I had to pick.
100%. Because I think that's part of big food. Doritos does nacho cheese, like Cheetos does a cheesy flavor. Like you can get your other, like everything is cheesy.
Fritos chili cheese is my favorite thing.
Fritos chili cheese. Like Goldfish is not like
Love
cheesy
Goldfish.
in the sense of like a Dorito, but it's still a cheese
Yeah.
cracker. They get you
Cheez-Its.
on cheese and set this base.
Big cheese.
Big cheese. And so then you get older that the picky kids can eat the nacho cheese, but then they can bounce to the the cheese balls, to the Cheetos, to the Goldfish.
Right.
And it's a circular economy until they get older, and then they kind of age out of that.
Never.
But then they have such an ingratiated love of cheese that like that's what drives them to buying like actual cheese products in their adulthood.
I don't think that anybody has ever used the word ingratiated while talking about talking about Doritos. And so congrats on that.
I am proud to have been the first.
Yeah.
That was not the first I was going for in life, but I will take
What
it.
was the conversation we were supposed to be having? Because
How
this
we
is
got here?
how we got. Well, how did we get here?
How did we get? I don't know.
I don't either.
We started with.
So you don't know either.
We've been going for an hour. We started with protests, started with the poop plane, and we got to cheese.
As
we're
one
doing,
does.
we're doing pretty good.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't trace it.
My roommate's lactose intolerant, so he buys like not Finn, my other roommate buys like Sam. I'll out him. Sam is lactose intolerant, which is funny because I'll text him and we'll go to Culver's because it's half a mile from our apartment at like
Oh,
11:30, and he'll no, you say lucky. Ew.
Well, Taco Bell is about 2 minutes away from mine.
I don't
so-
like Taco Bell.
What?
I am the most
We've lost him.
anti-Taco Bell person that exists. I cannot stand
Taco Bell is like
Bell.
genuinely like my life source at this point.
Of chicken quesadillas with extra sauce.
It's
A
not
Crunch
real
Wrap? Are
food.
you kidding? A Crunch Wrap is a real food.
It's not.
It
It's
is.
not. And here's the thing. I will say this. For people that can't tell based off my voice or anything about me, I'm about as white as you get. I had a former girlfriend who has Mexican heritage. Her father's whole side is that. And so, like, I thought I knew what, like, traditional Mexican food was. And then she introduced me to it. And, like, now I know what real,
Yeah.
like, true Hispanic
Good for you.
food is,
Yeah.
which is amazing because it's so much better.
It's so good.
And that has just further propelled my hate to Taco Bell. 'Cause,
I think-
like Taco Bell is spitting in the face of such delicious
I
food.
think you just have to create the distinction.
Taco Bell's like its own thing.
Yeah. Taco Bell, like Chipotle, huge Chipotle fan. It is not Mexican food.
Qdoba's better than Chipotle.
I would agree with you. I've gone back and forth.
I'll stand on that.
I used to stand on that.
There was never
but-
a Chipotle around where we live.
we had
in a close radius, but like that doesn't matter because Qdoba's 10 times better.
So yeah, we used to be a Qdoba family because it was closer, like you said.
Qdoba family.
Yeah, no.
And it's better.
Listen, I'm getting there. At some point, the switch was made to Chipotle. At this point, my family is like full Chipotle. I think that Qdoba doesn't salt their beans enough, which is a problem. However, I really like that they have the tortilla strips that Chipotle does not have. Point is, I go back and forth. As a general statement, if I'm on campus and I want one of the two, I will probably go to Qdoba because they are less likely to be out of things than the Chipotle on Kirkwood. But yeah, this used to be a hill on. I would have died on the hill with you on Qdoba, but I fear I've become a little bit too ambivalent.
I don't like beans.
You don't like beans?
Don't like beans. Hate
That's
beans.
listen, genuinely, that might be the
Hate.
worst thing about you.
Here's the thing. I promise you it's not, but I'll let you think that it is.
Well,
Hate beans.
keep in mind, I know the basis of this podcast.
Yeah.
so-
No, trust me. I'm not even talking about that.
Oh.
Hate beans.
That's crazy. Like, genuinely, if I had to eat black beans every day, I would be happy in life.
Like my roommate.
Part of this is me being a vegetarian, but
Sam brought back. He brought back a burrito from Chipotle. He made him food and like brought it back, and he brought it and was like, "I'm not gonna eat this. You can have it." I don't like queso either because I don't like the texture of the melted cheese. Like as this podcast continues, listeners will realize that I have lots of weird.
I'm gonna
food
become the favorite so fast.
quirks. I don't like the texture of like melted cheese like that. But it had queso on it. But like I can get past that.
You couldn't.
But it had beans on
Dude,
it,
Dylan.
and I took 2 bites, and I just like I was sitting in bed watching Family Guy. Like it was so perfect.
Dylan.
And I had to get up and go through the burrito away.
Dylan, you threw. Oh, you could
Because
have given it
there
back
were
to him.
beans on it. Nah, he doesn't want to eat after I took
That's
bites
valid.
out of a burrito.
But like, Dylan, what are we
it's
doing?
not good. Like because I will shout out Kelly Lampke, my goat, one of my mother's best friends growing up. Like, I think they've known each other since middle school.
Dang.
Kelly's a saint. Kelly's the greatest cook I've ever had the pleasure of knowing, and Kelly makes this chili. And when I tell you that this is my death row meal, it's true. She makes this chili, and she uses 5 different kinds of meat. And she smokes the meat for 24 hours and then puts the meat into the chili and smokes the chili for another 12. But she knows I don't like beans, and she'll make the chili without the beans just for me. And that is
I
why
respect that.
she is amazing.
That's amazing, yeah.
And it is legitimately a top 3 food like I've eaten in my life. I get it once or twice a year, and I will eat 4 or 5 bowls of chili straight. I will go through an entire bag of shredded cheese and an entire bag of Fritos. I will be sick, but it is the most amazing thing ever.
Okay, so that was very entertaining. That was very interesting. It's we're currently 2 days from Halloween, 1 day from Halloween.
2 days?
2 days
It's the
from
36
29th.
hours?
Yeah, 2 days from Halloween. It's this Friday, so I thought it would be very fun, interesting to tell ghost stories if any of us have ever had like a ghostly experience or something supernatural that they would want to talk about. Either of you have a ghost story?
I've got nothing in terms of actual supernatural. The only thing that came to mind is when I met my grandfather's younger brother for the first time. And the reason that I say this in the topic of ghost stories is that my grandfather died when I was about 5, and I didn't know that he had a brother who looked identical to him. And let's just say when I walked in that room, I was freaked out.
Oh.
Because it was like my grandfather's face, just with white hair instead of black. And yeah, thought it was a ghost.
Yeah, that would be disturbing. You should
Yeah.
warn children if that's happening.
Yeah. Well, I was like a teenager, but
Oh, you were a teenager?
which almost
Well,
worse.
still.
Almost worse. Because I was like, I have not seen that face in like 10 years. What the heck? Yeah, that's my ghost story.
Oh, wow.
I have a good ghost story that I would
Very
like
excited.
to share. Yes. So
I'm going to over dramatize my reactions just for the bit.
bum bum bum. I call it the mirror.
Oh.
So there's this girl named Erin, and Erin just moved into this new apartment in the old district of town.
Okay.
And she moves in, and in one of the rooms towards the back, she sees this warped mirror that she thinks is just like an antique quirk. You know, part of the charm. And she goes up to the mirror and, you know, smiles at it,
As one does.
Doesn't think much of it. Walks on by. Keeps unpacking, doing all the things. So for the first few nights, nothing really seems off. But on night 5, let's say night 5, she notices something like really minute. As she
starts
walked
small.
past the mirror, her reflection like didn't move
No.
perfectly
I hate these.
like it should have.
Ah.
It was like half a second delayed, like a bad FaceTime call.
Oh no.
And it's late at night. She tells herself, it's the light playing tricks. She's tired. She tries to write it off and goes about the rest of her evening and goes to bed. But it sticks with her in the back of her head for the rest of the week. And by the end of the week, she starts avoiding this hallway in this room after dark. And then one night, after a few drinks, she worked up the nerve to go stand just directly in front of the mirror. She walks up to the mirror.
Now, why would you do this, Aaron?
And
It's
she
never
waves.
a good idea.
And her reflection waves back in perfect sync. She laughs at herself, thinking, oh, it's nothing. I'm imagining it. But after she finishes chuckling, she looks back at the mirror and her reflection is still smiling.
No.
Long after she had stopped. But it wasn't a big smile. It was a little smirk. Just enough for Aaron to notice the difference. It almost looked like her reflection was pleased
Oh my
at
God.
something.
Taunting her.
And Aaron is now frozen, standing, staring at the mirror. And then slowly, the reflection's head starts to just tilt a little to the left. Fraction of an inch, fraction of an inch, fraction of an inch to the left. But she's not moving.
Ah.
Then her reflection blinked,
Oh my
but
God.
she hadn't. Freaked out, she runs upstairs, rips the sheet off of her bed, and throws it over this mirror.
No, Aaron, now you can't see what's happening.
Sleeping with the lights on that evening. The next morning, she wakes up, comes downstairs, all the lights still on, but she finds the sheet on the floor. But what she also notices
that's
is
a coincidence.
how clean the mirror looks. It looks like it had just been polished. So what does she do? She calls up the previous tenant who lived in.
I thought you were going to say priest.
Oh, priest. calls the previous tenant in this apartment, who she had the contact information for, but no
Convenient.
answer. So she drove to the new address that this person lived at, but the house was empty, condemned, with the windows boarded up. So when she finally gets back home, she caught something in her peripheral vision again.
Yeah.
It was the reflection in the mirror, smiling faintly. But this time, she noticed something worse. The reflection wasn't even wearing the outfit Aaron had on. Aaron, freaking out, runs to her bedroom, slams the door shut, and calls her best friend, Becca, to come over and stay the night.
Now why
Becca arrives within the hour.
would you go to Becca's house, Aaron? You go to
See,
Becca's
that's what
house.
you would think, right? But Aaron clearly is not the smartest. Becca comes over to the house within an hour. They both looked at the mirror together and everything seemed normal. Her friend laughs it off, saying, "You've just been watching, too many TikTok horror stories." And Aaron goes to bed foolish. Around 3 a.m., Becca wakes up to the sound of tapping on the glass. She walks into the hallway and freezes. Aaron was standing in front of the mirror, face inches away from the glass, whispering something too softly for Becca to hear at the other end of the hall. Her reflection, though, wasn't moving its mouth. It wasn't whispering back. It was listening. And it was smiling. When Becca reaches out to grab Aaron's shoulder, the reflection's hand came up too. No. But this time it was on the wrong side of the glass.
Nope. Not a fan.
There you go.
I don't
That's
like.
it?
That's my story.
I thought it was going to have some weird ending, like she called the previous owner and they were like, mirror, that's a window. And she was just looking
That would
into,
have been good,
she was
actually.
just looking into the next apartment or something, and it just happened to be the similar looking girl.
Oh!
That would have been almost
that
creepier,
an
though.
interesting story. Huh.
Because the person just staring at her.
Yeah,
Maybe I'll have to adapt that then.
No, but what do you mean? This is totally a true story.
Oh, yeah, it's totally a true story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know Aaron.
I know Aaron.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's my ghost story.
Awesome. Well, I'm not super into like believing paranormal things, but I really like watching ghost videos and like
Valid.
debunking things and all
Yeah,
that
yeah.
kind of stuff. But I do have one experience that was very recent that really, really freaked me out to the point where like my coworkers they thought that I had hurt myself.
Oh.
But so I'm not gonna give the name of the company I work for or the location we were at. Everyone in this room is going to know exactly where I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
But there is a very... Oh, I pulled a Dylan and punched my microphone.
Amateurs.
Yeah. But anyway, so I work for a real estate auction kind of company, and there is a very notable historic property here in town that we have been spending the last year and a half emptying, selling all of the contents. The previous deceased owners were collectors of many things, and we were contracted by not contracted like a disease. We were contracted by
Yet.
the surviving family to handle the property and sell everything and organize everything and clean everything up for them. So over this past summer, on one day, we were cleaning out the attic of this property that was floor to ceiling, completely full of everything you could imagine as far as like antiques and collectibles wise. And after there was so much stuff, like you'll go through a property like this and they're like, you can sell this, you can sell this. This is like a bunch of cardboard boxes that used to hold something that has to go to the trash. We're repackaging everything. You're going to have a lot of garbage. So every time we got a garbage bag full of trash, we would take it down the stairs, and the way this house is set up, there's not a ladder into the attic. There's a staircase up into the attic, and at the very bottom of that staircase is a window frame without a window in it that goes into that bedroom because it's like a secondary door where they can take furniture up there. So you can look straight down from the attic into that master bedroom.
Oh, no.
And we would take the trash down to the bottom of the stairs and toss it out into that master bedroom. This is a very high-value property. When we're in there, especially if we're way upstairs and we can't see the downstairs is completely locked down. There's no one can get in. So it's me and about 3 other people. We're in there. 3 other people. I held
You
up
put
5
yeah.
fingers, yeah. But we were in there cleaning out the attic. And of course, I'm going to say that there's a lot of mold in there. It's very hot. We were all been working for hours, so that could be feeding a little bit of a hallucination here. But
Nonsense.
So you did contract something.
I did contract something, yeah. So anyway, I was at one point, I was walking down the stairs. Everybody was in the attic. And I was going down the stairs with another bag of trash to throw it over. And at the bottom of the stairs, I see someone with a blue shirt on just sort of like pass by the door. And I'm going to give my coworker a name. Let's say Jack. I don't want to give any real names. And so I looked down there and I was like, my thought was maybe he had gone down there to go to the bathroom and nobody noticed or something. And I was like, Jack? And from behind me up in the attic, he goes, yeah?
No.
There was nobody down there. Plain as day. As far as away from me and you, full-grown male with
That's
a blue
close.
shirt
Jesus.
passes by that doorway. And when I realized all of them were up there, I like started running back up the stairs, tripped over the trash bag that I was pulling down, and like go back up there, and I'm like screaming. I was like, "Somebody's in the house! Somebody's in the house!" And like, so they all went downstairs. We all went downstairs. We like did a sweep to make sure nobody had like broken in. There was nobody in that house. And the room that he had, I want to spit. The room that
He's getting freaked out just thinking about it.
Yeah, it still makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up. But like, the room this guy passed into has no exit. Like it's like a side
my
bedroom.
God.
So unless he ran around when I came back up, like he had to have disappeared. But it's very weird, and like the way I've described it, like thinking back to how he moved, it was a very strange movement because it wasn't like he walked.
Dang, I did the thing. I hit my mic.
Oh,
No.
3 for 3. We've all hit our
Yeah.
mics.
He
But
like
it
glided.
kind of. It's not like he was walking, and it wasn't like a glide. The way I say it, when I say hanging, I don't mean like noose hanging.
Okay, I was gonna say.
Like imagine like a mannequin just being suspended, like a very stiff
like a
mannequin,
puppet?
kind of. But like they're on a thing and they're just kind of like swinging by the door.
Oh.
Like it was like a glide, but it was like a slight like down and up glide by the door. Like when I think about it, like that's almost how it moved. Like somebody had like a very dressed up, stiff mannequin that was just like swung by the door. And it was, I don't know. It's like the way it really creeps me out.
That is creepy.
And at my work, every time anytime something makes a noise in that house, everybody's like, "Oh, it was the man in the blue shirt," and they pick on me.
See, it's stories like that where I also like enjoy a good ghost video. I don't
Yeah.
believe in ghosts, but I don't not believe in ghosts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just because of stories like that. Like why was there a man? Why was he wearing a blue shirt? Why was he swinging like that?
Like in my mind,
Yeah.
I think it was like a very hot day. It was in the summer. We're in this attic of this old moldy house. It could have been a
so
hallucination.
Specific. That's so specific.
But it was like I really thought it was my coworker because he was like this around the same height with a blue shirt on. But
was
yeah,
was anybody wearing blue?
Yeah, that's most of us did. That's like
okay.
our work uniform color.
Because I was gonna say if nobody was wearing blue, that's crazy. But
Yeah,
fair enough.
And our boss did find a photo album of one of the previous male deceased owner. And I was like, please tell me he's not wearing a blue shirt in any of those, but he wasn't.
That'd be crazy. Yeah. All right. So potential hallucination. Dylan, you seem like you wouldn't believe in ghosts.
That I don't?
Yeah.
Oh, I 100% do.
Really? Okay.
100%.
You think
I
I saw
thought
a
you were a
ghost?
big science guy.
I am a big science guy, but there is so much about science that we don't have answers to. And a lot of ghost stories in the family from firsthand, a lot of firsthand ghost story accounts in my family from individuals who could never tell a lie and that I trust with every fiber of my being. And then you just they've got to be real. Like I've had I remember, and it's the house we live in now. We still live in was built by my grandpa and my grandma. My grandpa and my grandma built the house, and so my mom lived in this home starting at probably age 16 for her, and lived there and obviously moved up, grown out, and then we bought the house from my grandpa and grandma because they were getting a divorce and they were going to sell the house, and so we bought the house from them probably when I was in 3rd grade. So however old I would have been. And, my grandma would talk about, this lady in a blue dress, this ghost that she saw in the house. And my mom has also claimed to have seen her. And I remember one night being 13 or 14, and I had this chair that I had bought at Menards recently. It was one of those chairs that had the webbing in it, so you kind of sank down into it. If anybody can picture this,
Yeah, like
and I had
spider
it
thing.
set up in my room for the first time because I had just bought it. And I wake up at 2 a.m. and my bed is up against the wall, and so I usually sleep on my right side, so I'm staring at the wall. So I flip over on my left side, and sitting in this chair is a woman in a blue dress.
No.
I kid you not, as clear as day. Like I could make her out, and I was scared to death. One of the most scared I've ever been, and like I shut my eyes, I rolled over, and like pulled my blanket up like over my head, and I laid there until like I was not getting out of bed. Like I wake up early, I get out of bed early. Like I laid in bed till probably 9 a.m. when my mom came in the room to check on me because I hadn't gotten out of bed. Because like I was not turning around, I was not getting out of bed. But what was crazy, like I didn't know about the blue lady.
No.
Or the lady in the blue dress. Like it wasn't one of those like biased things where family
Right.
members have talked about it.
I
and
was
you
gonna
see,
say,
like,
yeah.
I didn't hear those stories from my mom and grandma until much later on.
Crazy.
Oh,
Like,
that
Okay,
is
in
creepy.
life.
that is creepy. Yeah, because I was definitely gonna say like you probably just dreamed it, but jeez.
Oh man,
So I
that should have been your ghost story.
Yeah.
I guess I thought you wanted something a little spooky.
That's
I
spooky.
did-
That's
What do you
spooky.
mean?
I guess that is spooky, but yeah. So there you go. I guess there's another good one.
Dang.
So
Yeah, I have
Tons of
no
ghost story.
I have nothing to contribute to that conversation, unfortunately.
So anyway, yeah. So are there any final reflections either of you have from today's episode in terms of our topics or the ghost stories? Or are we ready to head out?
I don't know. I think we've talked about so many random things on this episode. I think it was-
I guess I would just say, ghosts are real, beans are bad,
no, wait.
and we have to work to fix our political discourse. in the
I only
country.
condone the last part of that message. Beans are amazing. Ghosts might be real, unclear, and we have to fix the political discourse.
Cool.
All right. Well, it was good. Thank you all for listening, and we will see you all on the next one.